Standing up in the golf swing is something we see every day with golfers. Let's learn how we can stay down and make great easy contact. So all good players will have a sense of being tilted and in posture over the golf ball impact. Most poor players are going to be tall and head moving away from the golf ball, whether it's working backwards or upwards, but they'll have that sense of extending through the ball. Now, to be clear, we do want extension. We want extension in this direction here. So in order to extend in this direction here, we have to be tilted. We have to have some right bend. And that's the key to it, really. If we think, I don't want no extension whatsoever, you'd be wrong. Because if I rotate and extend, you'll start to see how that starts to look like a normal position. So if I do that and come back to the ball, you'll see I'm tall. But if I turn and tilt, you'll see now how it changes how that looks. So we do want extension, but it has to be with tilt, and we have to get that right bend. So one of the best ways of feeling this is if we take the club from our chest and we try and basically feel that we get this club close to the ball as we rotate through the golf ball. What you'll see here is I start to get a tilt from here, the bum stays back, and then I start to get that extension. So I'm trying to keep the right shoulder in a similar position to what it started in terms of height. It should be ever so slightly lower. If I'm honest with you, this angle will get ever so slightly steeper. But it's that kind of feeling. So I want you to do this exercise. I want you to feel that you get this to point to the golf ball. So you're going to feel there's a slight lateral move, there's a rotation, slight extension through the hips, through the chest, but you're still getting this to point to the golf ball. So as we said there, really, these shoulders turn pretty much on the circle. So where they start from, left shoulder gets to this height here. So the right shoulder on the way down wants to get to a similar height, ideally slightly lower. And if we do that and extend at the same time, we start to get that tilt that's correct, that right side bend. So the right side bend is quite simply this, and then turning into that position. So again, practicing that move again. So if I'm here with the club across my chest, getting the grip end to go low, turn it to where the ball would be, and then ideally chest up, hips up. That's the kind of three-dimensional movement we want to stay down. Now, most people early extend because of what's happened before. What we see is the biggest issue in early extension generally is a plainness over the top. Now, if I extend from there, it brings the club nearer to the ball line, and it helps what I would call shallow the plane in the bottom part of the swing. And it's quite reactive and manipulated. And we are talented. We have our own GPS in here that knows how do we make contact with the ball. If we fail, we start to find a way of making it work and learn. And that's what we do. So our GPS tells us that this is wrong. So then we do this. So what we want to make sure we do, if we can, is from the top of the backswing, if that's done correctly, we want to feel like the rib cage is low and the club's on plane. So practicing this club coming down correctly, then rotating and tilting, as we said, and extending through the shot. So that's one of the big reasons for it. The second big reason is probably ground contact. If my levers unload very early, I will start to hit the ground before the ball. So again, our GPS learns that if I stand up, I can make good contact. So if I unload these levers and stand up, I will make the ball go forward. That one was obviously a bit thinned, but it's how our body starts to react. So being low and on plane here allows me to rotate and tilt through contact to achieve pressure on the golf ball. Therefore, then there's no reason for us to stand up. Now, there can be some physical cues for us standing up. One of those can be tight hip flexors, tight Achilles, tight hamstrings. But to be honest with you, I've seen lots of golfers with really tight hamstrings still stay in posture. So sometimes it has to be a combination of more than just one thing. Obviously, being looser in those areas helps. But for me, moving well is stretching. So doing this exercise we talked about at the start, where we can go either two ways. We can go right bend, rotate it on there and extend. Or we go, just point this to where the ball is and then get some extension. And you get a more natural right bend. But we all have to feed what we need. Do we need more right bend? Do we need more tilt? Do we need more rotation? Now, ideally, the sequence should always be, if we move laterally, that creates some right bend. Then we rotate, that then starts to give us this angle. And then the extension piece is the final piece. So I always feel when I'm hitting golf shots in the golf course, I always like to think of a backswing thought and then a through swing thought. The through swing is my God, if you like. I never really think of the ball and the intention of hitting the ball. That is the last thing I'd want you to think of. So when I'm hitting shots in the golf course, I'm thinking heart to the sky, or my penguin logo here today, to the sky, and I'm thinking of driving through into that spot and almost throwing that club at the target. I'm happy you to throw the club left to target because the swing works on an arc, but the analogy is still that same thing. We're focusing out there, not at the ball. So if I go and hit a golf shot now, a great thing to do is rehearse the movements we want, especially in that downswing. So from here, chest down, right shoulder low, what you would feel, extension, hands forward. Then when I go and hit the golf ball, I'm focusing on just a nice backswing thought for me, which would be kind of left shoulder a little bit more down, and then that into that extended finish. As ball striking goes, I love that. Absolutely loved that. And that felt just like a nice motion. My golf swing isn't perfect, but that felt like a nice motion.